It's still September, but soon will be October, and Billy Napier's still calling plays. And I know some of you are really upset about that, but we'll talk about it some tonight. We got the master play caller himself on tonight, and he'll coach us up. Shane Matthews will join us. We'll talk about what we saw. I know he gets weary of it because he talks about it every morning on Potted with Matthews, but hey, he's our master craftsman calling plays. I've seen guys call plays, by the way, and they can do it. Today, Billy Napier talked about why he planned on not giving it up at his press conference. We'll hear from Franz Beard. He was there for the press conference. Scott Carter was there. See what that means. I don't think that's the only thing, but it certainly is a focal point. We'll get Shane's view on that, and love to hear from you. Join us. Tell your friends and neighbors. The Buddy Martin Show is back on the air. Believe it or not, it does come back. I'm not sure why, but we're back. So, again, stay tuned, and you can click in here, and you can make your comments, which we love for you to do, and we will give you a chance to voice your opinion as well here on the program called The Buddy Martin Show. And stand by.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Hello, welcome to the Buddy Martin Show, and it's Mountain Law Monday. That means we're going to talk ball. Had an open date. Boy, did we see some good football games. And what an amazing but disappointing Ryder Cup. I know Shane talked about it on the show this morning, I'm sure. Let's just bring Shane in. We'll find out. Here he is, the QB1 himself, Shane Matthews. Shane, you said there's going to be some great football on this weekend, and boy, there was some good football, really good football. And teams winning that we didn't necessarily think might be, and of course Mississippi State, they really played well enough to win. It was a trick. What was your highlight of the weekend, Shane?
I enjoyed watching all the games. Who won that we didn't expect to win, buddy?
Good point. I guess you might say Ole Miss a little bit.
Ole Miss was the favorite.
I know, but still, that was an impressive game and an impressive play calling by your boy, and I was really impressed that he eschewed the field goal and went for it. I have to go down the scores, but I will say that for the most part, the games were really, really good. I watched a lot of them, and I watched pro football. I saw one of the best ties I've ever seen in my life. Like the Green Bay Dallas game, you went to that, but you missed it. It was terrific. I mean, it was really fun to watch. I didn't want either team to lose. I really didn't. And I don't really care much about either one of those teams or really the NFL, but it was really an interesting game. And of all the college games, Shane, what got your attention the most?
Well, I thought all the games pretty much were all really good. I thought Alabama, Georgia was outstanding. Georgia, if they get that 4th and 1, they win the game probably. But their right guard and right tackle let a guy split them and made the play in the backfield. Oregon was a really good game. 2 really good teams. I thought Auburn, A&M were a good defensive battle. Mississippi State, Tennessee going to overtime. And then, obviously Ole Miss did what I thought they would do to LSU.
So you have been saying that for a while. I thought LSU might pull that one out. But you know what? I think we're beginning to see what Brian Kelly really is and what that team is. Got a bunch of high draft choices in the NFL. Nussmeier, your boy Nussmeier, not playing at the high enough level right now, but it wasn't his fault. It's just he didn't play as good as he could have played. And I think Brian Kelly's just out of answers now. The true stories coming out on him. It's a good football team. That's all they are.
Well, I don't think they're a very good football team personally. I think their issues are offensive line play. They cannot run the ball at all. They can't pass protect. Nussmeier, I've watched, somebody sent me clips of him from last year compared to this year. He threw for over 4,000 yards last year. But he's got a knee issue, and you can tell he's not striding into the throws. He's throwing all arm. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, LSU is a bad offensive football team. They're okay defensively. I don't think they're as good as people think. I think Alabama's going to expose them just like Ole Miss did. I don't know who else is on their schedule, but I think they'll lose. I predicted 2 or 3 games. They may lose 4.
What about Alabama? Impressed?
Alabama's very good. Their offense didn't play poorly against Florida State. It was their defense. But Ty Simpson's playing as well as anybody in America right now.
Sure is. What a good story. Yeah, he is.
But George is outstanding. Both those teams are really, really good.
Yeah, it was a good football. It was a good football weekend, college football weekend. And now let's talk about the team that did not play, and the issues continue on. I know we hear about it so much, we get tired of the same old questions, but that's what people want to talk about. Dallas, they got their boy back for a wide receiver. Dallas is back, and DJ's feeling so much more positive, it sounds like. And did you hear the interview with him today?
I did not.
You could tell he had more confidence. You could tell he had a little more presence. Anyway, so in the interview, he said he's beginning to get the rhythm. He said it's the first time he's played best on best. Last week was the first time he's done it. So, no wonder his timing was off. And you said all along it takes playing. You have to play, and you can't do it just by repping it and imaginarily doing it. Anyway, the fact is that I guess you could say Billy was optimistic, but what else choices he had, because he's not going to be there much longer, in my opinion. The question that comes here is, I believe in this theory that sometimes it's law, and I think maybe Florida is so far down that they have a shot to cover. Now they're getting some players back, and they will be a little more efficient on offense. Their defense is playing at a very high level right now. And let's face it, Arch is having his troubles. Now, I'm not going to talk myself into this because we're at a point right now where we're all about ready to throw the towel in on this thing and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not going to get burned again. And I think the whole thing, and you defended Billy a little bit on the play caller, and he is asked today about this. I forget who asked. It was a good question, and we'll talk to Franz about it in a minute. He's asking, what makes you think you can call plays? Here was his answer. Well, it's year 8 for me, and I think that's the way we've done it. And I think it helped us get here. That, my friend, is not a real answer, in my opinion. What do you think?
And that's what he believes. I don't think there's anybody on this staff that can call plays, first of all. If that was the case, they wouldn't be calling. They would be hired somewhere else. Again, play calling is very questionable at times when plays don't work. But I also say plays need to be executed. And, people are giving Kirby Smart hell because he went for it on 4th down, saying it was a bad call. It wasn't a bad call. The damn right guard and right tackle didn't do their job. So, look, I've made my point, buddy, is I'm done talking about play calling. I'm done talking about this and that. It's a waste of energy. There's no reason for people to continue complaining. It is what it is. Accept it and see what happens. I mean, that's all you can do.
Unfortunately, they look to you for answers because you're the guru. But
the answers are that I can't call plays. Coach Spurrier is not going to call plays. Billy is the coach being paid a lot of money to call the plays.
And he's going to go down that ship. I know.
I mean,
whatever.
Yeah. Again, if he had hired an offensive coordinator in the offseason, we still may be in this same predicament.
And you said he's not going to give it up, and you're right.
No, I mean, that's majority of the coaches don't do that. There may be a small sample, a few guys that have done it in their career, and it may have worked and it may have not. You know, we talk about Hugh Freeze. He gave up play calling last year, went back to calling plays.
Drinkwitz.
Drinkwitz, he might be the only one that you can say it's worked out for.
No, he stopped calling him.
Again,
no.
There's no guarantee that if Billy had hired an offensive coordinator, and again, I don't know who that offensive coordinator would have been last year. No idea. We could still be sitting here bitching and complaining about it.
No, I understand that. I'm just telling you what the news was today. That was his quote.
Right. And I mean, it is what it is. I don't know why people keep worrying about it or complaining about it.
Because they're frustrated. They're angry.
Well, I totally get it. But there's no reason to even discuss it anymore.
Well, when you're upset and angry and your team's not performing, you have to complain about something to somebody. This is how it is. I get tired of hearing it too, but this is the way fans are. I understand their frustration. By the way, how much difference, if all, will Dallas Wilson mean being back on the field?
I have no idea, buddy. You know, we talked about it on my show today. You look at, let's use Ole Miss's receiver. I think we have a good receiving crew. I mean, we've got a lot of 5 stars. Ole Miss ain't got any, but they have great ball skills. They're extremely quick, get separation. So I don't know what Dallas Wilson's going to bring to the table. I mean, he's never played in a college game.
Given that what we see and hear and what they're saying and what DJ says and Billy says, can we expect a better performance out of DJ? His quote today was, "I see the look in number 2's eye. That's important." Okay. Is that
Didn't
important?
Didn't he say that before the Miami game too?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought he did.
Ultimately, we're trying to do our best for him in terms of creating an environment where he can continue to get back to his rhythm. That's the most important thing. People think he talks and never says anything. That's what they say. So he's still trying to get over that terrible 5 interception night against LSU and 61 yards passing in Miami. And they're looking for something here. And maybe Dallas Wilson will be that spark. Sometimes you see a spark. You know, like we saw a spark last night in the Dallas in the Cowboys game. They blocked a extra point and turned it into a 2-point conversion. Until that time, they were doing nothing. And from that point on, they played lights out. Sometimes a play like that will actually inspire you. Now, DJ appears to be confident. And they asked him about the offense and where it was going. Did he like it? And he said he was confident. He said, it's going to pop soon. And when it pops, it's going to be hard to stop. I'll tell you that right now. You believe that? You think that's true?
I mean, they got to go make plays. It's up to the players to go make the plays.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of rumors. I don't like to even delve into the rumors because it's so nasty about Billy not recruiting at all this past weekend. One website said he was in Georgia, hanging out. Look, I have no problem if he took a day off. I mean, and so, look, Spurrier used to go to the beach during the week, with Bobby Stoops before the Tennessee game. That famous scene where he said they're out there in the Gulf, in the Atlantic Ocean, and on a Friday before the Tennessee game, and they're floating.
It was during the bye week, buddy, not before a game.
Was it? Yeah, that was the bye week. Right, you're right. And he looked at him and said, "What do you think Tennessee coaches are doing today?" That was his famous quote. Anyway, I don't know. It's looking for something.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I don't know all the recruiting rules, but Billy's not allowed to. Maybe he is allowed to go out on the road now. I don't know. I don't have any idea, but it's a bye week. I honestly, I don't know what good going to watch a kid play a quarter at a high school game is going to do in the first place, personally.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Yeah. So at some point we'll see what's what's going to be solid. Let's talk about some golf for a second. I know most people don't care about it. We do. And I'll tell you, it was such a disappointing ride at Ryder Cup for the first 2 days. I mean, I turned it off a few times. And then I watched it the first 4 hours on Sunday, and it was just awful, hard to watch. And then all of a sudden, the drama started building. And it was amazing performance by the U.S. team in the final couple of hours. Did you see it?
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. I mean, you got to tip your hat to the European team, buddy.
No doubt about it. They were great.
I mean, I don't know if we played really that bad if you go back and watch the first 2 days. I just think they played better than we did. And there was really nothing you could do. That's one thing about golf. You can't play defense, But it was a really good final day. I mean, it was a lot of drama in it. And I think the Ryder Cup, I mean, I know they've had that rule about if a match is canceled, each team gets
I hate that rule.
Well, I've never heard of the rule. That's the first time I ever heard of it.
Neither had I. Because people say, well, why didn't somebody just drop out and say, I'm injured, I can't play? And get a half point, for the Americans. That just doesn't make any sense. You get a half a point for not playing? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that was what, in the end, kind of did him in. A half point kept him from getting the opportunity until Lowry made that putt. That was a really gutsy putt he made, man. And I just knew he was going to make it, didn't you?
Yeah. Shane Lowry's clutch. I mean, not just that putt, but the previous 3 holes.
Mm-hmm.
He hit some unbelievable shots to keep it close.
What in the world happened to the great Scotty Scheffler, my wife's favorite athlete in the world? He just didn't show until the final hole. He finally got the one he needed against Tommy, who played lights out, man. I picked that guy 100 times in my golf pool and never won for me. But he was amazing this past weekend. And what happened to Scheffler?
Well, he didn't play. I mean, he played okay. I mean,
didn't get a point till the very end.
Yeah,
0-4.
I mean, on paper, the European team was the better team going into the thing. So I didn't expect the Americans to win, but it was fun to watch.
Do you think there's anything to the theory that the Europeans have a better team? The way the Americans play on Sunday in the singles, they flourish. But one of the things that came up was they were offered money. They were offered, I forget how much, 90,000, whatever it was. And the Europeans, it's just like the Americans got. And they said, we don't want it. We don't want to be paid. Does that kind of thing help you solidify the team when you're willing to do that?
I don't know. I've never been offered money to be on a golf team and compete like that, so I don't really know the answer. I just know the European, from top to bottom, had the better team, in my opinion.
I'm just trying to figure out why, because, I mean, they had good players. America had good players. Anyway, boy, and John Rahm was hard to beat there until Sunday.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. It was really nerve-wracking, I'll tell you what. Nerve-wracking. So let's talk a little about the Texas game. 3:30 kickoff. Not the game we had hoped to get. UF won 3, and of course they've lost to USF, LSU, and Miami. Texas number 10, and most recent AP is 3-1. They won 3 straight games since losing at Ohio State week 1. So the Gators have never beaten Texas, never. And Florida's 0-3-1 all-time series, which includes a 49-17 blowout loss last week of the season in Austin. So this game has lost an awful lot. They, of course, played in 1939 and tied the Longhorns at Texas in 1924. So what do you feel about this game as a Gator?
I mean, it's going to be a fun game. I mean, Texas coming to Gainesville, you're going to see a lot of chaps and cowboy boots and cowboy hats. Their fans will travel. It's a huge game for Texas, buddy, because they haven't played an SEC game yet. This is their opener. And they have to figure out their offensive issues. And I know you don't like him, but I think Sarkisian is phenomenal. So I'm anxious to see what he has dialed up in their first SEC game on the road.
It's not that I don't like him. It's just he hasn't performed as expected. And I didn't think his quarterback was well coached. His theory on how you handle Manning, I was wrong, it turns out, in my opinion. But anyway, that's just me on that, and we'll see. Too bad about Sam Pittman having to getting fired. But do you see what they did with his buyout?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Yurchek said this. He said the school negotiated Sam Pittman's buyout down to 62% of his remaining contract. Now, if he had gone on and lost 3 more games, and they had a losing record, he would have had nothing. By firing him now, they got him $7.6 million. But if he would have lost like $5 million of that or something if he'd lost 3 more games. So anyway, I guess you can do it that way. But nice guy, but the old Leo DeRocher quote, nice guys finish last. Would it be a good job? Would it be a good guy to hire as an offensive line coach, you think?
Yeah, I think he's very good at that. Arkansas has a couple of good years under him. That's a hard place to win because they've had, I bet in the last 6, 7, 10 years, they've had like the hardest schedule in America when you look at it from top to bottom every year, especially when it was the old East and the West. They had a brutal schedule year in and year out. But yeah, Sam Pittman's a good offensive line coach for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he'll probably end up at like Georgia or somewhere like that, where he can't. I mean, I think that's where he was when he got the head job at Arkansas.
Yeah, as a whole, I like football coaches. I wrote a piece about it over the weekend. I like football coaches. I've been around them all my life. You've been around them. Your dad was one. And I hate this time when they start getting fired because, it's never fun to see people get fired. Now, today they got these golden parachutes, and maybe it's a little bit different. But still, one thing is they used to wait until the season's over to fire them all. Now they're filing them early. And you can, I've been around coaches who were at the end of the year and had no job and no Christmas stuff for their kids, It's pretty tough.
You don't have to worry about that anymore.
No more. They'll have many Christmases to come. And these Urban Meyer says that there's no more money. He says the money's run out.
With who?
Well, a lot of these guys, he said a couple of weeks ago, I talked to him, and he also said it again. He said these buyouts or these ridiculous buyouts and these obscene facilities, those days are over. And they're not paying these big payouts anymore. So we'll see. But anyway, just to put in perspective, here are some records. I think Neil Backman put this up. Billy Napier is 14-16. Mike Norvell is 18-12. Brent Key from Georgia Tech, 19-11. You think you might make a good candidate for Florida?
No.
Marcus Freeman's 24-6. I like him a lot. Lane Kevin's 24-6. Eli Drinkwitz, which is probably the guy that's going to wind up with the job, is 25-6, and Kirby is 26-4. And one of the things that you've been saying, when I said to you, I sure hate to see them start over again because it's so hard, and you kept saying, well, no, it's not that hard. Apparently, you're right. It can't be done because people are doing it, right?
Oh, it can be. If you hire the right guy, you'll be relevant immediately.
Okay, well, I'm going to find out who that right guy is right now because you know how I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out because I'm going to ask this guy right here who knows everything about everything. And if I can get him to come up here, he's got a hot book coming out too, by the way. There he is, Mr. Franz Beard. How are you, Francis? Give us the name of the guy Florida's going to hire.
It's a mystery to me because I'm writing about it tonight because you've got to, here's the dilemma. I was talking about it with somebody today. If let's just say for the sake of argument that Florida upsets Texas. You got to know something. The line has dropped from 7.5 to 6.5 overnight. A lot of money going Florida's way. I got have a close friend who has spent the last 5 days in Las Vegas, and he makes a lot of money gambling, and he says just a ton of money's going on Florida right now. But let's say Florida wins that game and goes on a tear. Could happen. Happened last year. You know, got to remember something. This is the ultimate dilemma for the Gators. Everybody wants the Gators to win, but they understand also that if Billy wins, say 5 more ball games, let's say he goes 5-2 the rest of the way, he'll be the coach here next year. It's the ultimate Gator dilemma. You want the Gators to win, but if they lose, you're going to get a new coach. If they win, you might have the same coach next year. Heck of a dilemma, isn't it?
Here, Shane, here's a sip of this Kool-Aid. You want some? Yeah, I know. It is true, and I do believe Francis is right. But I want to bring you in to tell me what Billy said today. He once again stood his ground on play calling. You were at the press conference. Scott Carter is there. We're going to bring him in just a second as well.
He said, I've been doing it for 8 years. Mm-hmm. Basically, you know, it's almost like he said, we're past the point of no return. It ain't.
It's changed. What got us here, he said. It's what got us here. So
it is what got us here. It got us to 20-22, which is what his record is since he took over at Florida. He's got to win. You know, you look at it. He's got 8 games to go, and he's got to win 6 of them to 5 of them to ensure that he's got a winning record after 4 years on the job.
I can't even think about it. It's exhausting.
It is.
It's just too hard to do it again. And
I guarantee you, he'll have more losses than Shane had incomplete passes against a couple teams in his career.
Shane had incomplete passes. I didn't think he had any incomplete passes.
I had a lot of them.
Listen, you're not to apologize for a big guy. All right, so help me with this. What was the mood in the room?
Tense.
And what did it sound like when I heard the press conference? I could hear, although I didn't hear it, guys breathing, you know, oh, no, not again. When he said, I'm going to continue to call the plays. But did you think you'd get any kind of different answer? He's not going to say, oh, no, I'm stepping down from calling plays. But you have to keep asking. And he's dug in on this, isn't he?
Well, the thing about it is I hand it to the guys. They're getting creative in the way they ask the question. It's the same question. It's just being creatively worded now, but it's still the same thing. And it didn't fool Billy. And Billy is digging in and saying the same thing. You know, it's what I've always done, what I'm always going to do. There were people today who were asking this question. They were saying, how many times did Nick Saban bypass Billy for the job of calling the plays? Well, in 2016, they were saying, well, he bypassed him for Sark. Well, Sark was an associate, but in 2017, Billy went someplace else because Mike Loxley became the offense coordinator and play caller. And I don't know if Billy left because he was being bypassed, but next thing I know is Loxley is the play caller that year. So
Loxley called plays at Alabama?
Yes, he did.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he did. That's how he got the Maryland job.
All right, so I'm bringing Scott in here. I want to do this commercial real fast for our good friends at Meldon Law. We all know what they do for the University of Florida. And, of course, Jeffrey is the ultimate Gator fan. He had a great time. In fact, Franz wrote about it in the book. It's coming out soon, The Golden Year. Soon more about that later. About Jeffrey was with Todd Golden all the way through that, and we just couldn't have had a better time. It's a great moment for him. Jeffrey puts his money where his mouth is, buying things for transportation for the band when they needed it. Just there to help out, sponsors a lot of programs, and of course he does practice law. Let's not lose sight of that. And sometimes you need a good lawyer. You don't think you're going to, but you need a good lawyer. You got a guy you can trust. You can go to him and say, "Can you help me? And can you do this?" He'll say, "Yes, I can," or "I got a guy for you I think I can recommend." And that's what Jeffrey Meldon does, Meldon Law. He won't back down. He doesn't, and he is a great Gator. All right, let's talk to Scott Carter and talk about a guy in a tough position, and a situation is highly tense around you all the time. Scott, what's life like there all week long?
Well, it's like you'd expect. It's kind of downbeaten right now until they win. It's just going to be that way. So the only way you change that, guys, you guys know. I don't have to tell you. You gotta beat Texas on Saturday, and what's the term everybody uses now? Change the narrative. I mean, that would help change the narrative at least for a week. But it's going to be a week by week process. But right now, there's not much anybody can say. Whether it's Billy Napier, DJ Lagway, or anybody else, they need to win a game. I've always, you guys have done this long enough. I've done it long enough. You kind of know what the end looks like, and that's what it's looked like the last couple of weeks. And the only way that changes is you surprise some people and win some games, and we'll see if the Gators can do that.
Like they say, there's only two kind of coaches: fired coaches and coaches are going to be fired. That's the way it happens. That's why it's so unusual. When you get a Spurrier and a Meyer at the same school and you're up there. Shane, have you ever played on a program like that with a coach who's fired and you had to finish out the season?
No.
Not even in pros?
No.
Did you ever fear? Did you ever fear for your dad's job?
No.
You're a lucky man. It's an ugly
Shane,
thing.
you were on the '89 Gators though when.
Oh yeah, but I was thinking about transferring, so I didn't really care because I never even dressed out.
Talk about a guy coming off the shelf. Wow, to become a hero. All right, so I'm going to say this, and I don't want people to mistake it for saying I think Billy should maintain his job. I hate this part of football. I don't, for the most part, coaches are good people. I don't know Billy, so I can't really say. Never spent 5 seconds talking to him. But I hate it that what their families have to go through with. Like I told Shane, I don't hate it as bad as I used to. Because back then, I remember guys getting fired off Ray Graves' staff at Christmas time and not having anything for Christmas. Now you don't have to worry about that. These big contracts and buyouts and such. They're protected. But it's just as a group, I think we'd agree that football coaches are a good lot, but we not?
I think most of them are in it and would be coaching, even if they weren't college coaches, they'd be coaching somewhere. I think that's true of most of them.
Good point. Scott?
Yeah, I mean, in my career, the ones I've dealt with, I've been fortunate for the most part. I've had, a good opportunity to work with some coaches. I think probably Jim Leavitt was the oddest one that I've ever dealt with on a regular basis, former USF coach. And I always thought McElwain was quirky, but I kind of thought he would always. I was around him enough behind the scenes to know he had a pretty funny sense of humor, and if he was not at the microphone, he'd cut up and he'd be fun to drink a beer with. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, I think most guys, like Franz says, most of these guys, I mean, this is what they do, this is what they love. And you know, if it doesn't work out with Billy Napier here, he'll go on and coach somewhere else, and that's the way it works for all these guys. But yeah, I mean, as far as just normal guys who I've dealt with, Billy's probably the most normal, just down to earth, nice coach I've ever dealt with.
By the way, I want you all to well weigh in on this and tell me what you think, and be honest. And because I'm not so sure it's easy to turn around. Shane has convinced me otherwise, that with all the money and the way you can go out and you can get in the portal and you can get coaches and you can get people in here, you can get it turned around in a portal a lot quicker. It's not a concern. I'm not so sure about that. But how hard is it going to be, especially if Billy doesn't make it? If he does make it, how hard is it going to get this program back on the tracks where Gator fans can be confident once again that their team is going to be winning and has a chance for championships? I'll start with you, Scott.
Well, I mean, you can definitely do it quick, but it all comes down to money these days. I mean, it's not only going to cost you money in a coaching buyout and hiring a new coach and staff, it's going to cost you money in players. If you have the people who are willing to put up that money, yeah, you can do it pretty fast. You can get, I mean, we saw Florida State do it a couple of years ago with that heavy transfer class. So I know it can be done. I know that's not the way that Billy Napier has wanted to do it. I don't think it's the way that Scott Strickland wants to do it. They want to do it, use the transfer portal as kind of a supplement piece. But, you know, again, if your ticket sells, or if you're worried about ticket sales and just rebooting and get people excited again, if you're willing to spend the money, you can turn it around pretty quick.
Shane?
I think you can turn around immediately if you hire the right guy.
Well, that's always number one.
Yeah, you hire the right guy. It doesn't matter if that roster leaves and goes to the portal, because people are going to want to play for that guy if he's the right guy.
Yep, no doubt about that.
So who would that be?
I mean, it's a simple. I
know.
Again, we're discussing if something were to happen, and again, you have to offer that guy the job to let him decide if he wants to take it or not. That's the first step.
Do you buy into the theory that supposedly last year, Shane, that Manning and that Lane was going to be hired, and that Strickland stepped in and kiboshed it? Do you believe that?
I don't know all that. I just know that
That's
my people tell me that if Lane hadn't been offered the job, he would have taken it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about all that other nonsense, but look.
I'm going to tell you what one of the money guys told me in just a minute, but go ahead, Shane.
I think he's the perfect fit. I know some people like him, some people don't, but here's the bottom line. There's a lot of people that didn't like Coach Spurrier. There's a lot of people that didn't like Urban Meyer. The product on the field is all you need to see. It's a result-driven business. If you want to win football games and you want to be relevant immediately,
all right,
it's a no-brainer.
All right, so I believe Shane, Franz, you wrote something about this and you quoted somebody saying no way the Lane's going to get hired, and I kind of believe that too. But what were your thoughts on that?
I asked Scott Strickland before Billy Napier was hired. I said, "Are you going after Lane Kiffin?" Because I knew back in 2022, Lane was ready to take this job. He was he had just 3.85 at Ole Miss, and done it with wire and bubble gum, and then along comes the portal, and that changed everything. But he was ready to come right then. He would have been the right pick. I do believe that. I like Billy Napier. I mean, I like him. I think Scott will tell you, he is genuine. And when he asks you, how's your family doing? It's not one of these things that that he's doing it because he wants to sound good. He's doing it because he really means it. He'll ask you about personal questions. How's your family, etc. And he means it. And you talk to the guy turned my life around. You love those things in him. But as Shane just pointed out, this is a results-driven business, and the results aren't there. So what are you going to do? You got to go get the guy.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Franz. Yeah. Franz is breaking up there. He's having a little issue with his internet. We'll stand by a second. I'm going to go back to something I said a couple of times. You've all heard me say it. And after seeing the program, I'm even more convinced the person I saw looked to me like a man who was where he wanted to be. Looked like a man who found his niche in life. Looked like a man who knew that he didn't need, like he said, he didn't need a statue. You just think that's what he wanted. He didn't need a statue. And his statue is that family around that table with his ex-wife and his brother and all those people in that ESPN piece, which I thought was terrific, by the way. And it seemed like he's found something, I don't want to over dramatize, spiritual about this whole thing. Like he said, Lane needs Oxford more than Oxford needs Lane, which I thought was remarkable. So when you found and again, I go back to the quote from a highly regarded former athletic director at the highest level, says what people don't understand is that a lot of these guys are not movable. They do not want to leave for a lot of reasons. They love their town. They love their family situation. They love their daughters in high school, whatever. So, I mean, I would agree. I'd love to see Lane come here in a heartbeat. But I have my doubts about that. And Shane says no.
No. I agree with all that because Oxford, Mississippi is a great place to live. Again, buddy, this is not like Lane has to make a decision. Lane has to be offered the job to make that decision. That's the first step. If somebody has to call Lane Kiffin when his season is over or call his agent and say, we would love for Lane Kiffin to be our coach. If that doesn't happen, we have a problem, in my opinion. But Lane can retire as the greatest football coach in Ole Miss history outside of Johnny Vaught, never be fired at Ole Miss. He's got an athletic director that's about his age, maybe a little bit younger, who played basketball at Ole Miss. Their NIL collective leader is a former player, Walker Jones, who played at Ole Miss. They all have it. They have it figured out there. There's no question about that. But he just has to decide if he's offered the job, which again, that's got to be the first step. Do I want a stress-free rest of my career here at Ole Miss, or do I want to go to the University of Florida if I'm offered that job and it's very stressful, right? That's got to be his decision, but none of this matters if we don't even offer the job if it comes available. That's just my two cents.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. A good point. I do want to say, though, he did make this statement already that he wasn't interested in the statue.
Well, nobody's saying they're going to build a damn statue here or at Alabama or anywhere else.
Well, but you get the idea.
I know that, but I do know people close to him that he's had two jobs that he's always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Florida or Alabama.
It depends on when you offer it and whatever. Now, the thing was told to me by a person well connected to all the money people, the big money people, was that the money people were prepared to go out and make a generous offer, really beyond expectations, to the coach they want. give him a huge budget for NIL and a good operating budget, and they're willing to make they say they've got the money. Now, on the other hand, you hear Urban saying, well, those days are over. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Scott? Do you think that those days are over, or you think we'll see them return to the big money buys?
You're saying in terms of buyouts, or
well, this particular person who knows the money people at Florida, knows them all on a first name basis, and talks to them, said that that fan base, those people, those guys were ready to write a ridiculous check to the right coach, both for his services, even if it was for 2 years to get it fixed, and then to give them a huge number for NIL money and give them a great budget, and money would not be an issue. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
On the other hand, a guy like Urban, who said he talked to 2 associate athletic directors who said, them days are gone, man. No more of these fancy facilities, no more of this NIL money, etc. What do you think the reality is?
I mean, I think the reality is if the money's there. I mean, I don't think that's the issue. The people who I know in the money field who pay a lot of the bills, those guys, they've shown over and over that they're willing to put their money where their heart is, and nothing I've heard has changed in that regard. It's unfortunate they've had to spend so much money and not get it right, but I think, to me, what needs to change, and this is more of a industry thing, is, I mean, it does come to a point where you kind of just lose respect for the whole system, man. I mean, it's like I saw with Todd Grantham, he gets fired after 4 games. He just signed a $4.2 million 3-year deal in December, and he gets the whole chunk.
Yeah.
And it's like, who are these people? I mean, I realize this is booster money, so it's fake money if you're Scott Strickland and you have to make this move. Now, the UA has a lot of reserves where they can dip into, but I know that's not something that they probably want to do consistently, and money comes from boosters and other areas. And as long as those people are willing to give you the money, man, it's going to be there. Now, if that dries up, we're talking a different story. But it is amazing to me, after being so close to it for so long, how it's fake money, man.
Here's you want to hear weird?
Yeah.
If Arkansas had waited 3 games, because there's no way the Hogs are going to win the next 3 games, then Sam Pittman would have had a losing record since 2021. But it was built into his contract that if he got fired and he had a 500 or better record, he gets the 3 games. They cut the buyout by a full third.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. He got $7.6 million because he left with a winning record. That's true. But back to what Scott was just saying about the money being there and about Todd Grantham, Shane, that is despicable. The guy could get fired by so many places that keep hiring him. He can walk away after 4 games with $4 million, isn't it?
That's the profession, buddy. I mean, how many coaches that are covered that you could count on one hand that haven't been fired sometime in their career? Think about that.
I get it. I know it's a high-risk business. I understand that. Like they say.
I mean, I don't know. Coach Spurrier got fired. Didn't he get fired at
Florida?
At Florida.
Well,
Florida.
He did, the staff got fired.
Yeah,
but that's still,
and also Georgia Tech.
It's no different.
Georgia Tech.
Bill
Georgia
Curry
Tech.
told him at Georgia Tech
Right.
that he could help him get a job selling insurance.
Right. I don't know if Urban was ever fired when he was an assistant. But
he was, I think, early on.
It just happens.
Job.
I mean, it's just part of the business. And,
right.
Yeah, it's crazy that I've always second guessed my decision of playing pro ball, because I would have made probably 50 times more in money if I had become a GA right out of college and started working to become a college coach.
But who knew then? It
You'd
wasn't
be
because
sitting in a jacuzzi right now doing this show.
Yeah, I
it's
would
what he's
I
doing
would have
now.
been fired.
He's
I would
already
have
there.
been fired about 5 times, and I probably could be retired doing nothing.
Yeah.
But Shane, nobody but you redefined the clipboard. You are the
I
man.
never held a clipboard though. That's the thing. That was back in the
That's a
day.
misnomer. Yeah.
That was the beautiful
I'm
thing
just
is I
teasing
never
when
had
I
to hold
say
a
that.
clipboard.
I'm teasing when I say that because to stick around as many years as you did, what was it, 13 or 14?
It was 14.
14 years.
7 teams, Shane?
No, only 6.
6 teams, 14 years. And you started, what, 2 or 3 of them? I think 3 years, wasn't it?
I started, I think, 32 games.
Okay. To stick around that long, it takes a lot between
I
the
know,
years.
that's what I'm saying. I should have been coaching because I would have used the reason that kept me there is my mind. But it's over with and done now. It's too late. Can't go back.
All right, guys, thinking out the last few minutes, let's just be realistic and say, what can Florida hope for? Give me 90 seconds each about this is really kind of the best case scenario for Florida. Here's what I think could and might happen. Shane, you ready?
Talking about for the Texas game?
Yeah, I mean for the season.
Well, basically, Franz hit it right on the head earlier. I think it was Franz that said it. You want the Gators to win, but then if you win too many games, are we sitting here this time next year going through the same? Like I said it all summer, buddy. You go back and you watch the LSU and Ole Miss game. I still don't know how we won those games. We were very fortunate. It's great we won them, but it may have been not so great when it's all said and done.
So is it 500 realistic? Is that what we're looking
This
at?
year? No.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Scott.
I don't think. I think.
Right.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see that.
I hear you, Scott.
You're asking for a realistic take. So
You just tell me what you're thinking. What could be the best case scenario?
I mean, to me, the best case scenario, just what I see is, I think DJ Lagway will play better than we've seen. I don't know if the offense is going to be significantly better, because they have issues right now with the offensive line that's crept up that I didn't expect. If they were to manage at right now, I'm looking at the stats. I mean, they got the worst record in the SEC, guys. They're the only team in the league with 3 losses. So they got a lot of work to do. If they climb back up to 500, finish 6-6, I consider that pretty good right now where they sit. So that's just a realistic spin. I mean, I don't see them making a drastic run because I just think the league's too tough, the schedule's too tough, and I don't think any team, is going to make a. Ole Miss is 5-0. We're talking about Lane Kiffin, coming to Florida. Hell, he's got the 4th ranked team right now in the nation at Ole Miss. I mean, they're looking good. But will they go undefeated? I don't think so. I mean, there's just too many good teams in the league. I think they're going to stumble. So it's that's just kind of the reality of the situation right now, the way I see it.
Shane, you still feel like he's too heavy? Like we have to lose 30 pounds?
We ain't gonna be able to lose it during the season.
Well, but would you like to see him weigh in at 240 next year? 230
225 at the most.
Okay.
I mean, 247 makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
He's the same size right now at 6'3", 247 that Max Steen was playing left tackle for the Gators in 1969.
Yeah.
That puts it in perspective right there.
Now, if he had good feet and could move, that's fine. I mean, Josh Allen has great feet and is an explosive runner, and he's quick. I don't see any quickness.
All right, Franz, last one. Best case scenario you see for the Gators?
I said it before. It's the ultimate dilemma. You don't want the Gators to lose, but if they lose, there's going to be a new coach. If they win, we're back here doing this same thing next year. I'm afraid, talking about the coaches on the hot seat for the 11th straight year, maybe his ceiling is somewhere between 5 and 7 wins. Maybe that is his ceiling now. And you worry about that because the question, who was it, the coach that got fired? Mark Richt got run out of Georgia for being a 9-3 coach.
And let me let Shane go in there and that's catching this long. Shane, I'll talk to you in the morning of the program, and thanks for being on the show.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Shane. Usually I have to keep him about 45 minutes. I'll catch you almost an hour. In the final 2 seconds we got here, go ahead and finish up your thought, friends.
They fired Mark Richt for going 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy's not going to go 9-3, not this year anyway. I mean, he'd have to win every ball game the rest of the way. Scott just pointed out the league's too tough. You're not going to, you're not going to win the rest of your ball games here. A 6-6 would be terrific. Would you keep him at 6-6? If you're going to keep up with Georgia, you can't. But again, you got the ultimate dilemma. If you don't want the Gators to lose, but you don't want them to win too much either because of the fact that then Billy's the coach next year. I think he's a great guy. I would want my kid to have a mentor like that. But I would also want my kid to have a better football coach than that because I want my kid to have the experience of winning championships, and I can't see it.
Well, it's a tough one to be in. One I didn't think any of us thought this would be this bad. I thought we might have a little bit of a struggle, but I don't know. I think you got a quarterback there who can still play and give him an opportunity. He can still compete. Now we'll see what Dallas coming back what is going to do with this team. I don't know. I'm with you. I think there's better out there, and it's a long season, and things do happen. And look, there's some good teams. You got 2 losses here now, too. Some good teams. You got 2 losses. So yeah. Florida not the only team to lose some games. It's just the way they've lost them. So we'll see if the QB can do it. All right, Scott. Thanks very much, man. Read him on FloridaGators.com. He's got great stuff going on. Got a new haircut, too, I believe, today. And,
yeah, I got the buzz cut, fellas.
Looks
Thanks
good.
for having me on, and we'll see you guys soon, I'm sure.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.
Take care, Scott.
I guess.
Franz, can you give me a word on the book situation real quick before we go?
Yeah, well, I think we got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. I think, I think we've done everything we can do except printing. And, thank goodness this isn't the old days of linotype, which we remember. My gosh, somebody sitting there with typing it into lead and stacking that stuff in these basically these boxes and stuff. Thank goodness we're past that. So, but it's off to the printer and coming out soon. And hopefully, if you're watching, you'll buy one.
Yeah, we'll have information on how to get those. I know that Carlson pulled a all-nighter last night, basically to 4 a.m., putting the pieces together, and Franz did a wonderful job of putting this book together. So let me say thank you to that, Franz. We'll catch you on the flip-flop. What you writing about tomorrow, real quick?
The ultimate Gator dilemma. And it is. I hate to write, and it seems like I'm writing negatively the whole time.
I got you.
But this is a critical juncture.
Yeah.
Not just for Billy Napier.
Yeah, we got to run. All right.
Football.
I hate to cut you off, but we got to run. Thank you, Franz. Looking forward to reading what you got. All right. All right, folks, let me tell you about Titan MRI Imaging. Now I have 3 locations to serve you, 2 in Gainesville, with Park Avenue location down in the Millennium Center, 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta. Titan MRI Imaging offers the same great customer service. They accept insurance, or you can go through their convenient self-pay options. Titan MRI Imaging offers MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, and ultrasounds. Easy scheduling with lots of options, including nights if you need to go at night. They can make that happen. The larger MRI machines are my favorite thing because for your patient comfort. No yards, no hands, hospitals, etc. Coming soon to Ocala. Titan MRI and Imaging. Check them out. Thanks to our guest tonight. Thanks to you for listening. Watching. Don't forget tomorrow night, Lauren Meadows will be here with the program. And appreciate you being here, folks. Have a good night.